What's up, guys? Dave Blacks here, and today I want to talk about Under the Silver Lake. Now, this is a super indie film. It just came out earlier this year, 2019, and it stars Andrew Garfield, which is really the only actor that I know in this. I know there's a couple other known ones, but that's just the main actor that I know. It's a super independent, artsy film. It's a film noir, so it's kind of dark too. It has a lot of gritty details, but this film is so weird and out there. Like, I just had to talk about it. It's one of the most interesting films. I think it premiered at the Cannes Film Festival, which a company I work for actually went there too, so that's pretty cool. So the movie is about Andrew Garfield's character, and he is living on his own. He's kind of a sad, lonely, dull kind of character, and then this girl moves in that he really likes, so he decides to go over to her house and talk to her. After that, she goes missing for a while, and he starts piecing together all these clues to find out where she is. And big spoiler warning, if you haven't seen this movie, go see that first. He starts putting together clues to find out where she is, and eventually he finds her, but everything he did was meaningless, and so it's kind of a nihilistic view. I think the director was going for a very nihilistic view because it deals with a lot of conspiracy theories about, like, there's this really cool scene about popular music and how all his favorite songs were written by this one dude who didn't care, who is not even an artist in the slightest. If you're like a super big conspiracy theorist, then you're gonna love this movie because it dives super deep into stuff like that. With those kind of topics, when stuff is found out, it just raises more questions, and there's no questions that are really answered in this movie, which I found kind of annoying, but I think that's what the movie was trying to go for. I think it wanted to have this nihilistic, everything is meaningless point of view to it. So first I want to talk about the stuff that I really liked about this movie, and what I like the most about this movie has to be the cinematography. That's like at the top of my list. It has these super slow pans in a lot of the time. There's a lot of POV movement, camera shots and stuff like that. It's shot with like a super wide lens most of the time. The locations that it chooses to film at is mainly in East LA, and it's in Silver Lake, Los Angeles, which is East LA. But so throughout the movie, all this crazy shit is happening where he's trying to find this girl. He thinks she's murdered at first, and then he finds out that she's just actually under this bunker, and he can't get to her anyway. She's probably gonna end up dead. But throughout the whole movie, his mom keeps on calling. That's one of the themes in the movie, is that his mom just keeps on calling. And then, like, I can't even tell you what she says because it's just glossed over so much, but I kind of like that part of the movie because it is when you're like in your 20s and you're going through like your day-to-day life dealing with all this heavy shit, and then out of the blue, like, your mom will just randomly call, and then you'll get on the phone and you'll be like, yeah, everything's fine, like, don't worry about anything, when really you have the weight of the world on your shoulders. I kind of like that aspect of the movie. It kind of like resonated with me a little bit. So the movie is super over-sexualized. Like, there's titties everywhere in this movie, and I think the director also did that as part of like the conspiracy, this whole conspiracy plot that he wants to drive home. I think he wants to say that the mainstream media is always super sexualized, and that sex is what gets our attention the most, and he's really driving that point home with, I think, one of the other subplots. There's like this owl lady that comes in and kills people, so there's like this horror aspect vibe to the movie. It's a crazy movie, like a lot of shit happens, and it's I think the run hour is like 2 hours and 15 minutes or something like that, but a lot of crazy shit. There's a dog killer, like this movie explains none of why anything is happening though, which is the problem with it, is like it goes like, oh, there's a dog killer, but the main character seems disinterested, and I think this is intentional, but he seems disinterested in the whole thing, and he just like wants to find this girl. Meanwhile, all this crazy shit is happening around him. All he cares about is that girl, which is like beautiful and meaningless at the same time, which is again that nihilistic view. This is a super hipster movie, so if it's kind of one of those like sad, like all the good artists are gone and all the new stuff is trash. So there's this one scene in a graveyard where they're literally standing on Alfred Hitchcock's grave watching a movie, and the whole movie is actually accompanied by this like 1950s score, which is super cool. Actually, it's really like, it stylized the movie in like a whole different way. I really like that a lot. So overall, this movie is a super artistic movie. If you like artistic movies, you are in for a treat with this one. It's really a filmmaker's movie. Like, if you study film, if you like film, if you watch a lot of films, you'll definitely appreciate this movie. I'm glad I saw it, and I'm glad it was made, because it's so different and unique that I think a lot of people will be talking about it eventually. It just came out, so I know that a lot of people are gonna kind of gloss over this, but I think it's probably gonna gain a little bit of traction towards the end of the year, I think, and then a lot more people will be talking about it. I think a lot of people are already talking about it, like in the film community and stuff, but as far as mainstream goes, if you haven't seen this movie, guys, go see it, because it is definitely a ride. Like, it's super entertaining. Even if you don't like some of the plot points, you'll always be entertained throughout the entire film. So like, go watch it. It's visually beautiful. The score is good. And yeah, a lot of the shots are actually shot from like, a lot of them are references to like Marilyn Monroe, Hitchcock, stuff like that. So if you're a film nerd or like a hipster, then you'll probably like this movie a lot. But anyway, that's gonna be it. Go watch this movie if you haven't. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, comment down below if you agree with me and if you appreciated this movie as much as I did. The reason why I called it a beautiful mess is because it looks super beautiful, but then there's all these convoluted things that are going on, which is just like WTF, like most of the movie. So it's a beautiful mess. Yeah, I'm out.